Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to share this experience with you. I'm not going to teach you, I'm going to share with you all the experiences of learning how to listen and thereby helping or sharing, and then by using this technique to improve your relationships. So let me get started. What the technique I'm going to show you will help heal your relationships with family, marriages, friends, and business associates by the simple act of listening, the art of communication. Now, I have a good friend of mine who once told me, he said, Tom, he was from Iran. He said, Tom, if you want to speak or have a great conversation with someone, speak to a listener, because a listener will have an ability to really understand what you're talking about. And at the end of this, that is what I hope everyone will be able to do. Be good listeners is work miracles for me. My daughter calls this the talk. Anytime we say to each other, let's have a talk, we do this technique. And it's really helped my relationship with my daughter and other people. Now, 1 + 1 equals 3. The third aspect is the relationship, the man, the woman, or any relationship. It forms a triangle. Now, the number 3 is a very sacred number. Body, mind, spirit, Father, Son, and Spirit, even a three-legged chair. And all I'm trying to get across to you is this, it lends to stability. When you focus upon the relationship, how can I heal the relationship? That's what is important. You will lend stability to the relationship, okay? So, also, what this technique will do, it will allow you to learn a little bit of something about yourself. So when the person tells you or says to you, this is how you have hurt me, you will start to learn something about yourself. Also, you will learn a lot more about the person. Now, let me get into the rules of listening. First rule is put your freaking ego down. EGO. In other words, you're edging God out. Whether you're agnostic or an atheist, put your ego down. Do not try to think ahead of what you're going to say next, because all you're doing is you're getting into ego. You're trying to win the conversation. No, it's not about winning. If anything, you're trying to win the relationship, make it healthy, make it balanced, stable. Now, also, do your best. And it was so hard for me at the very beginning to do this. When my daughter would say some things to me, oh man, I am doing my best not to become defensive. Do your best not to become defensive, because all communication breaks down. Okay. Now, on the line, I have a very good friend of mine. Her name is Barbara Magnus, and she has a master's degree in fine arts from UCLA, which is University of California at Los Angeles. And also, she was a garden designer. Now she's going to read a letter about a friend that had hurt her. And I will pretend to be that friend. And her friend's name is Beverly. Now, what this person said to her over 40 years ago still has stuck with Barbara. So we are doing this exercise to not only heal herself, but hopefully she will send this letter to her friend or talk to her about this so they can heal the relationship. Now, this is the technique itself. Now, I'm going to explain it, then we're going to actually demonstrate it. Remember, I'm Beverly. Now, Barbara, if you say hello to everybody.
Hello.
That's my friend Barbara. We've known each other for over 15 years. A great lady, great lady. Now, Barbara will read the story to me. Now, you don't have to write it down, what you want to say, or what hurt that or injustice was done to you. You can just speak it. Now, Barbara will read the story to me, and I have to be quiet and listen. Then when Barbara finishes, I have to repeat back to her what she said to me, being Beverly. And then I will ask Barbara, did I say everything correctly? And Barbara will say yes or no. Then, me being Beverly, I will say what I needed to say about her letter. Then when I'm finished being Beverly, Barbara will repeat back to me what I said. And Barbara will ask me, did she get everything correctly? And I will say yes. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do is Barbara will start her letter. So, and the technique will make more sense when we actually demonstrate it. So, Barbara, go right ahead, sweetheart.
Thank you. Dear Beverly, I haven't spoken to you since the beginning of the pandemic, and I hope you are doing well. I want you to know how much I appreciate the support, love, and opportunities you have given me all these years. Designing your gardens and all the floral work was always a pleasure, and your enthusiastic company, a joyful experience. It was a chance for me to realize, express, and develop skills in areas I love. Something has come to the surface for me in these very polarized times. That something is the need to honor the other person's experience above and beyond our differences, above and beyond all dogma, above and beyond all media fueled perceptions. Accepting that another person's journey is just that, their journey. What brought this up is something you said to me 35 or 40 years ago upon your return from Jerusalem. You said, and I quote, I don't know how anybody could go to Jerusalem and not come back a Christian. This experience, I know, has been central to your deep Christian devotion through your life. This has bothered me all these years because I was taken aback because you knew I was Jewish. And being Jewish for me, it's not just a religion, it is an experience with a cultural, ethnic, and even genetic ramifications. Recently, I met a Muslim Palestinian woman that had to smuggle herself into Israel to see Jerusalem. She was rapturous about the energy of that city. It was then that I understood this was about the energy for you as well. And this is not about assuming, but accepting that this circumstance meets a real and deep need. In this culture, we so seldom ask another person, what was this like for you? And maybe probe a little deeper and ask, and what else? And do this without judgment. We are so ready to be insulted by whatever seems insensitive, and we are so ready to dismiss the other person or even ourselves that we carry all this unfinished business for years and years because we don't know what to do with it. Yet these harms, big and small, rear their hypervigilant heads in an instant when a similar occurrence arises. These are wounds and sorrows that need to be attended to lovingly. I thank you for giving me a step into some insight about today and these times. My love to you, Beverly, or love, Barbara.
Okay. So are you finished, Barbara?
Yes.
Okay. Now, me being Beverly, I will respond. I understand that you didn't feel heard. You felt dismissed when I mentioned to you how is no one could come back from Jerusalem and not be a Christian. And I was very insensitive about your heritage and your lineage, which is Anasazi Jew. And that probably cut you deeply. At the time, I felt so inspired by my own sense of inspiration that I wanted to share it with you because I know you're so spiritual and you have different forms of spirituality. And I really was thoughtless in the way that I express myself. And that I apologize for. Is that, and I'm glad that you had mentioned this to me because I didn't know I hurt you. And you've had to carry this burden for so many years. I'm done. Did I say everything that you expressed to me?
Almost.
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 What else?
What happened is that certain things that are similar will trigger me, and that I think is something that people that don't intend to harm another person, but in fact their words do, needs to hold some responsibility for that. So
Yes.
I do appreciate your apology.
Okay. So there are some things that are said to you because words have power that will trigger that part of you, which is your lineage, your ancestry, and that your peoples had gone through the Holocaust. And so there probably some memory there also. And I was thoughtless in my actions. So once again, I do apologize. Did I cover or understand what you said?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Okay. Now, that's the technique. I wasn't thinking ahead of what I was going to say next. I listened. This is important. Don't interrupt the person unless if you don't understand something. So keep that in mind. Now, what this particular technique will do is that both people feel like they have been heard. Also, what this will do is that you got to say everything that you needed to say without being interrupted. The only time you interrupt the person while they're speaking is if you don't understand something, but do it nicely, such as, excuse me, can you repeat that statement again? Because I really didn't understand it. That's what you need to do. And even if you disagree with something, keep it to yourself until the end of the conversation. Also, when you're first doing this, don't expect to be perfect. But the key is to keep trying. Don't try for perfection. Just keep trying it. If you can do something for 30 days, you create a new habit. If you do it for 90 days, you can do it for the rest of your life. Also, what you don't want to do, which is an imperative, don't talk to each other about something that's bothering you when you're tired. Because when you're tired, you're liable to say things you won't be able to take back. And it just takes one slice to somebody to hurt them for the rest of their lives. And it takes 6 responses of positiveness to help heal that person. So don't do it when you're tired. Take what I call pause. PAUSE, which is postpone action until serenity enters. Postpone action until serenity enters. Also do what I call wait. WAIT. Why am I talking? If the person is really not listening, disengage or walk away in trust until that person is willing to engage again. Those 2 acronyms saved my marriage of 33 years until I lost my wife back 3 years ago in October to a stroke. Also do what is called an Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln during the war had trouble with his generals. For those that are history buffs, you will know that he had trouble with his generals and he would get incensed. And so he would write the letter, but he wouldn't send the letter out immediately. He would sleep on it. And if he felt differently the next day, he would tear up the letter. But if he felt the same way too, he would send a letter. Now, when you do have a disagreement with somebody, give them what I call a bad news sandwich. Say something positive, then the issue you have with them, then say a positive again, such as a friend of mine told me that I talk too much. And it bothered me and it kind of hurt me. So I said to them, I acknowledge what you said and this is how you feel, but it hurt my feelings. Now, in the future, maybe you couldn't say that. Maybe you were having a bad day or whatever. See what that does, that leaves the door open for love to come in. So these are the techniques that I want you to take away from you, away from the situation. Now I will be quiet, and Barbara, who's more than capable of speaking for herself, will give more context and how this technique can help her also. So go right ahead, dear.
Thank you. What I had relayed to Tom that, this was something that had bothered me all these years. And he suggested that I write this letter. It was in writing the letter that I started to understand my part in this, my lack of understanding myself. And also understanding how today's climate of polarization makes this kind of thing way more important, way more helpful. And, reaching out to Beverly, for me, she is an influential person. And I think I think it will strike a chord. Because what needs to go out into the world is the understanding, not just of the other person. You understand maybe what they've been through, but you don't necessarily understand what you're missing. And you also don't necessarily understand what you've ignored about yourself. So it's a kind of a two-way street, because there was a lot of healing just writing this for me. It gave me really a step forward into maybe what's missing in the world today. So it's microcosm, macrocosm work. So it's important not to dismiss these things. It's important not to leave this unfinished business that just bogs you down in your life. It just it saps your energy. We want to approach life fully vital. So thank you for the opportunity to do this. I really appreciate it.
My gratitude in you participating with this, because it takes more courage for someone to be vulnerable, to look at their dark side, than a soldier on a battlefield. You're not being weak by being vulnerable. It takes the most strongest individual to be vulnerable. So I want to give all gratitude to my friend Barbara. She has been through so many things with me. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you for doing this. And I had to do this at the last minute. So she has always stepped up to the plate. And so I want to tell you, thank you. You're a dear heart, and I appreciate it, Barbara.
Thank you. I dearly appreciate you.
Thank you. Now, this is going to go on Facebook and also YouTube. So if you have any questions, or if you would like some more suggestions that I have, because I am a life coach. In January, I will become a master life coach, where I will be teaching life coaches how to become a life coach, or how to better be prepared to help other people. Also, I'm a motivational speaker. I go to high schools and colleges to talk to kids about overcoming their perceived difficulties. Also, I deal with businesses and also women's groups that are over age 40 and above. And also, I'm a Reiki master, a Tibetan breathing master. I teach meditation. All these things I have done to help myself. So now I'm giving it away to other people. I've suffered for so many years with panic attacks. So everything that I'm saying to you, I have done. And I will leave you with this. You do not have to believe one word I have said to you today. Not one word. What I want you to do is go out and see if this listening technique works for your relationship. By doing so, it will become a part of you and you will do it on your own terms. So just keep that in mind. And if you like, contact me. You can reach me, this is all lowercase, fliesfar311 at gmail.com. That's as F is in Frank, L is in Lucky, Y is in your, S is in Sam, F is in Frank, A is in Apple, R311 at gmail.com. Fliesfar311 at Gmail. Either way, let me know how it goes. And I will have another session next week, same time as we did today. And I will post it on my Facebook page of a particular topic. Or if you have suggestions you would like for me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to. My basic tenet is to serve. Not teach, but serve. So may everyone have many blessings and peace profound. And have a good night. God bless.